Okay. Okay, we're going to start now. All right, good morning, iCreate judges and NUS staff. Today we are Team Unwired, and we're here to present to you our product, which is called Wired. So Wired is basically what you think it is. It's Wi-Fi plus infrared. So we combine that together and we get Wired. That's essentially what it is. Okay, so you must be wondering what this product actually is. So before we actually go into that, let's look at a couple of problems that we face nowadays. So, have you ever, had your house or your hall and then you suddenly lost your remote and then you just can't control any of your appliances anymore? Or how about in your NUS common room where, just because the remote is lost, you can't control the TV and everyone in the hall is really mad? Or how about the situation where, you wanted to record your favorite TV show on Channel 8, and the show is just nice at 8 p.m. and then your friend told you about it. And then you're like, wasted, I can't start the recording because I'm not at home. So you wanted to have control of your DVR box, but you can't control it. So another situation, how about when it's been a really, really hot day and you actually want to turn on your aircon before you actually come back home so that your room will actually be nice and cool? Or in the case of students in their dorms, they actually want to turn on their aircon or turn off their aircon so that they can save power for the dorm room. Yep. So these kinds of problems can actually be solved using our device, which is called Wired. So just a quick overview of what is Wired. It's basically a universal remote application. So it actually runs via an app. So this is the, seems the signal is gone. Okay. So basically this is the app here. So let's just go back. So this is what it looks like. So before we actually go into that, let's just look at the actual hardware. It looks something like this. So we're going to do a demo of it later. So this actually works in tandem with our app and our server, which actually runs on Amazon Web Services. But in this case, it runs here for the demo today. Yep. So you can control any IR appliances from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. So it's actually a proof of concept. So it's not really the final product, but we are going to show you what this can actually achieve. Yep. Okay, now I'll pass the time on to Fawaz to discuss the system. Yep.
Okay. Test. Okay. So basically, this is a wired system. Basically, a wired system consists of our three components. Basically, the application itself, our cloud server, and of course, the wired device itself. So basically, when everything is set up on normal usage, how our product works is such that given your remote, you have you wanna switch to the remote view. Okay. Anyway, so basically, given your wired application, when you have this remote view where you can, where it basically resembles something like a TV remote. So from there, you will send a signal to a cloud server. From the cloud server itself, it would send the information to your wired device. Okay. So basically, all our settings for whatever signals we have, like our TV power on signal and all that, this is all stored in the cloud server. None of it is stored on the device itself. Okay? Yeah. So basically, this is just the overview of how our product works on normal usage. Okay? Yeah. So this is the wired device prototype. Okay, this is just the internals. As you can see, it's making use of an Arduino board, there's a Wi-Fi chip, and just the rest of the components. But you see there's a lot of empty space, so actually this device can be made more compact given the proper resources. Okay, so I'll just go briefly into the hardware area. So basically, of course, is our Arduino board running the Amiga 328P microcontroller. So benefits of using this microcontroller is that it uses the Arduino library, which is open source, and there are various other libraries that are available. Of significant note is the IR remote, which is very handy for our project, especially because it provides all the necessary API for us to manipulate all the IR signals that we have. Also, all the code is written in C++, and also the hardware APIs are very easy to use. This makes it easier for other developers who can come in to work on our device as well. And of course, lastly, the cost. It only costs around $5, so it's relatively cheap. Yeah. Of course, then the Wi-Fi module. Basically, yeah, it runs on TCP. All our connections are all run on the TCP protocol. And just other information. It holds the settings of your router, the SSID, and the passkey, and all that kind of thing. And power consumption is very low. And lastly, it costs around $30. One of the cheaper Wi-Fi chips that we can find commercially. Yeah. And lastly, the IR system components are just making use of our IR transmitters and our IR receivers. So basically, the IR transmitters are your IR LEDs. They are the one that emits the IR signals. The IR signals are modulated by the microcontroller itself. But then also you have the IR receivers, which demodulates the IR signals that sends to the microcontroller. And just various other components, BJTs, resistors, just to form the rest of the electrical circuit network. Yeah, and all the cost of these components just around $10. So overall, the entire device, approximately $60, including the box, the other components, the PCB. Yeah, and so it's small and compact. So yeah, it just makes it ideal. It's a very cheap device to have around, but it works very well with the phone. Okay. So now I will pass the time to Raj again, who will now talk about the server and the application itself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'll move on to the server and the app, which is actually the crux of iCreate. So we feel that the server is actually an integral part of the entire app system. So we actually put a lot of effort into that. So if you actually take a look here, this is a Java server. It's written using the Jetty server system. And it's a very powerful, highly multi-threaded system that can be deployed on any operating system, whether it's Unix, Linux, Mac, or Windows. Yep, it makes use of the H2 database engine. So we are able to perform SQL commands, etc. And we even have a web interface that lets you access the database and modify it from there. And it concurrently handles communications with the hardware, with the app. It does even scheduling, so at specific times you can say send this IR signal, and does web requests as well. And it makes use of a lot of data structures like queues, threads, thread pools, and all of this to ensure smooth operation. Yep, and it's easy to use. It's portable. Takes up only about 20 MB of system memory. And the jar file itself is only 12 MB. And most importantly, it provides a RESTful API service. So we don't actually want the user or the client side who's developing our app to actually deal with very complex TCP connections and strings and like that. So we provide a very easy to use RESTful API service that will return JSON responses, whether it's connected to our device, etc. And of course, it can be easily deployed at home. And although it can also be deployed on Amazon Web Services, which we've tested and it works perfectly. Yep. So any quick questions about the server? Or just move on? Yep. Okay, now for the app itself. I'm going to be very quick with this so that we can actually show the actual demo of the app. So this here is the app homepage as seen there. We have a login page. Currently, we are able to actually change the server API. But of course, it will be fixed in the final app. Yep. And we have a very easy to use one-touch configuration. So if you actually take a look at the device here, there's actually a red button here. So when you actually tap that, it goes into a configuration mode, which we can actually modify quite a few settings, the device key, SSID, phrase, etc., in case you change your router in the future. Yep. And this here is you can actually add IR devices. And you can add IR commands using your remote. You just have to fire at the device. And yep, we have our virtual remote here. And we have scheduling as well. So for example, if you want to, 8 p.m. start this, fire the signal to turn on the aircon. So we have this scheduler system as well. We can even have precise control of how strong we want our IR signal to be using the loop count. Okay, so that presentation was rather short, but we need more time for the demo. So we're going to show you the demo now. Yep. Yep. You can help me make sure it doesn't sleep. Is it on? Okay, wait, don't touch. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to show here is to actually create a new user account. So we have to have our device close to the phone first because we're actually configuring it for the first time. So this guy's going to go into ad hoc mode. So as you can see here, we have a nice white logo there, and we're going to tap new user. So it's going to check if a username is actually available, and then it will start to show a bunch of instructions. Perhaps you can actually just take a look. So we really have a very nice clean UI to actually show exactly what to do. So it says here, tap the red button. You're going to see a green light, wait for the green light to stop, and then go to settings and join wired. So let's do that. So we turn on the device. So you can see the yellow light flash. That means it's connecting to Wi-Fi, but we tap the red button to go into ad hoc mode. So you can see the green light's actually flashing here. I'll bring it closer later on once it's set up. Yep. Okay, so the green light is done flashing. So now we'll go into settings here. Let me go to the other side. Okay, we'll tap Wi-Fi, and we'll join wired. Now if you actually take a look, the yellow light should turn on the device. So the yellow light is currently turned on. Now if we go back to the app, you'll actually see that the SSID is now changed to wired, and we'll receive a new instruction that is ensure that both lights are on. So we're going to now set it up. So the SSID in our case was a router. Let me just type that in. Yeah. And we even have a device key to ensure that no one can actually tamper with the device and set it up for themselves. Yep. So we'll tap send. Now you can see the yellow light flashing on the device. That means the data is actually being received by the device. Yep. So the yellow light basically means it's trying to connect to the router or our Wi-Fi network. So in this case, let's hope it connects. Okay, it's done. Now it's connecting to the server. Okay, done. So now you can see that both the green and yellow lights are on. All right, so we'll go back to settings. Tap router. Go back to the app again. And now we'll verify that our account is actually created. Okay, now comes the slightly interesting part. Now normally what needs to be done is port forwarding so that the server on the cloud can actually communicate with our device. So in this case, since we're running locally, we don't have to do that, but definitely for home use or somewhere in the school or something, we can do that. So we'll do a test connection. Now take a look at the device here. It's actually going to flash twice. Yeah. So now it's verified. And we're good to go. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the device a bit closer. Right, so what we're hoping to do here today is turn that off. Yep. So let's just try with the remote first. I assume it'll work. Yep. So it's turned off. So I'll turn it back on again. Please turn on. Okay, good. So that's done. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a new IR device. So we already have a bunch of devices here. Let's add a new device. So perhaps we can call it iCreate or something. Yeah. And we can have a description as well. So we just put in some description. Tap add, and it's automatically in the cloud safe. All right, so we'll go in to iCreate. So that will load up the screen. Now we can tap add, and we can actually add in a command, or we can actually go to the IR remote, virtual remote here. Tap one of the commands that we like, and we can actually modify it. So this is, just bring this a bit closer. All right, so when I actually go to the app, sorry, you have to move your eyes around a bit, no choice, yeah. So when you go to the app, right, you're going to tap Add. Now, I want you to observe the device. Yep, it's going to actually flash twice, the LEDs. So it's waiting for my signal. I'm going to aim at it and fire. That's it. And it appears there. Power. Let's try that again for the sake of the camera. Yeah. So let's choose another command. Maybe OK. The LED flashes. We have the remote here. And signal is saved. Yep. And you see OK appear up in the app there. All right. So now that we've done that, we can actually use the app and control whatever device that we're pointing at. So let's turn this around. Aim it at the TV. And it should turn off. Let's try. Oh, apparently it didn't. Let's bring it closer. You want to try? Bring it closer a bit. Okay. So what you can actually see here is I just control a IR device using my phone. Yep. So I'm going to just bring the, oops, so you all can see. Yep. So this here is the app. And basically I went into the device itself, which is iCreate. And this actually brought this up. So I can actually go here and tap the command, or I can actually tap power here to control the device. So we can actually control anything using this. We've tested it on NEC. We've tested it on Panasonic, various other remotes, fans, and controls. It works fantastic. So let me just turn this back on again. Yep. So not only that, we can actually have scheduling as well. So let me just show what it is. So if we tap and hold the power button, for example, we're going to bring up this window here. This is called the scheduler. Okay, so Faust, can you tell me what time it is now?
It's 11:02.
Right, 11:02. Yeah, so let's maybe make it, do the action at 11:03. 11:03 a.m. We turn that on and we save. So now at 11:03 exactly, this guy will turn off. So yeah, we'll just wait for that. But in the meantime, another feature of this app is I can actually send multiple commands. So I can tap 1 and 2, and then it will sort of wait in a queue, and it will send out these commands concurrently. So you don't actually cause the device to hang or anything like that. Yep. So let's just, so the server is actually running its commands in the background, and when it actually hits 11:03, it should turn off. So let's all wait patiently. Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be in the server 11:03. All right, any moment now. So we're hands-free, we're not touching anything. Yeah.
Nothing else to talk about, is it?
I think another 15 seconds should do it. Yeah.
Like waiting for a baby to come.
Yeah, I suppose. So it's done its thing, yeah, and it's turned off.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so basically it's done its thing, and in the future we can just turn it back off again or something. Yeah. So that's about it. Let's turn the screen back on again. Yeah. So yeah, I think that actually concludes our demo and our app. Yep. Right. We're actually done with the demo. Yeah. This will be the Q&A. Yeah.
Sorry, so how many of these do I need in the room?
Actually,
I need light outside. I mean, since it's I assume I need light outside. So let's say now I'll control the TV and the aircon. I'll need 2, is it?
okay, so the final product, right, is actually going to be a circular design. So we only have one IR port on our microcontroller. We can have a circular design to fire in all directions. That's the final product. Yeah.
In every room you have to have one.
I think this is more to control your hall, because in your hall you have your aircon, you have your DVR, your TV. But yes, it's actually possible to have multiple. Anything to do.
Okay, so I love the idea. I've been thinking about it for a long time also. Yeah.
Okay.
So so a couple of questions that I have. So the device itself will cost $60 US, right?
materials is approximates to 60.
Okay.
But this is just the prototype.
That's the high-end price, right? I think eventually you'll reduce it to like maybe $20 or $10, possibly.
Probably use it to use better components. Like
Okay.
Currently, because our phone has to be quite close enough to configure it properly.
Okay.
So, yeah, that kind of thing.
How much power does it pull? It pulls from internal power, right? Batteries, right?
Yeah.
How long does it last?
Okay, at max, it actually sleeps until it hears a command. So basically, it consumes about 100 milliamps on sleep mode. When it receives the command and performs the function about 600 mAh.
Okay.
So we are running on 8 AA batteries. And these 8 AAA batteries provide about, I can't recall, about 17,000 mAh. So it lasts about 30 to 40 hours.
Which is not a long time, right?
Yes, but what we actually intend to do is maybe in the future we can have a fix. You can fix it to the mains or something and keep it fixed there or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say is it's relatively power efficient. Even on simple AA batteries, it can last fairly long time. I think. Yeah. Of course, with better microcontroller code, we can make it last even longer.
Okay. So yeah, because this will be a living room device. So in terms of aesthetic, you need to consider. You also need to consider a power source.
Yes.
Very important. And because there's a restriction on how you're going to place this device also. If you place it in the middle, obviously the most optimal is to place it in the middle of the room.
Yep, correct.
So, but typically you don't have a power plug in the middle of the room.
So the light actually provides.
Yeah, then you will need to hang this device in the air.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So you need to consider all these small little factors, especially if you're going to sell this as a consumer device.
Definitely.
And then the
Yeah.
pricing itself, it will matter. Will I pay $60 to have a remote that I can use? Maybe.
So actually, there is existing systems already,
Yeah.
and all of them cost 99 USD.
Correct.
Yeah, of course, but that includes
But,
their profit.
Yeah,
point,
correct.
So
But I don't see people using it. So they might be selling at $99, but they're not selling any.
yes.
So there's also possibilities. Another thing that I have, so it's also to get I mean, now you can send signals, right? Obviously. But for example, in the scenario where I don't even know whether the aircon is on or off. If I press the power, it might eventually, if it's on, it becomes off. And then when it's off, it becomes on.
Actually,
So I won't know, right?
you want to explain this?
Okay, aircon remote signals are slightly more complex.
Okay.
There is a specific signal for on and a specific signal for an off.
Okay.
It's not like a toggle button, that kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
But TV remotes?
TV is toggle.
remote, yeah, it's toggle.
TV is toggle.
It's a toggle, right? So yeah, so you will know. And for example, if I use this for my startup cable, it's a multi-step to complete a certain task. Like to record a video, I mean, I need to do like 3 steps. Go to the menu, navigate.
Correct. Yes, actually, we haven't. Those features can actually easily be implemented via the UI itself.
Okay.
So what we're trying to say is, this is a full-fledged system with a full-fledged API as well. So in the future, any Android developer can take on our task and just use our very easy-to-use API and develop even more complex functions.
Okay.
So our prototype really handles most of the more basic cases.
Okay.
Necessities.
So one suggestion I have for you is that so apparently for those kind of device, because I think the value comes when you can control like those hub station devices.
Yeah.
Those devices actually have a separate port at the back that can take in digital signals
I see.
that can control the device itself. So most systems will have that actually, and that's how the interface. All Samsung TVs will have that, and there's actually a specific protocol for that. So you may want to build this instead of using IR. You just build something that plugs in between.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can send signal to it directly, and it will accept very complicated protocols that you can use. Yeah, so you may want to explore that. Yeah. That's how Xbox controls your startup in the future.
I see.
Correct. So it's very, very interesting. I like the idea. I think you can shrink this down. It's still,
It can definitely
yeah.
be shrunk down. Yeah, it's a lot of space inside right now.
Correct.
so.
But it's good. It's a good start.
Yep. So really, we feel that it's a very unique idea, that we've brought out in a sense. Yeah.
Right. So quick question. Going forward, are you going to focus more on the back-end development of it, where you provide the infrastructure and you get other developers to deal with the front end, the Android phones?
Yes, that's actually a possibility. The server is actually written in Java, so and it's a very portable single jar file. And you use open source libraries like the H2 engine for SQL, Jetty to manage the web requests, and a TCP thread pool to handle all the device communication. So I think it can definitely be extended in the future.
So you want to make sure that you handle all the complexities, and then eventually just leave your REST APIs out for people to use.
That's right.
That's the goal. Okay. Yeah. Again, I think I totally agree with both the other judges on the interesting idea that you have here. Part of being a consumer product, I guess, aesthetic is really very important. Re-emphasizing it, and of course, setup and installation. That is also another key part. Whether and not everyone is from software engineering, or not from everyone is from engineering. We prefer to build it ourselves rather than buy. But you make money from others much more. So as simple as you can do for your setup, the more pleasing to the eyes. We may love it. The boys will always love these toys, but then the missus say no because it looks ugly. It doesn't fit with my furniture in the living room. So, so we need to. I mean, that's the practical part of it. But again, I think this is a very interesting one. Good job with and good luck as well.
Thanks. Just one more thing I wanted to mention, that all the sort of setting up is all wireless, so I think that's a slightly added advantage. The one-touch setup is a very easy way to allow users to easily change their settings in the future. Yep.
But I personally feel that the setting up process is still too complicated.
Too complex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for now, I cannot remember what are the exact steps, to be honest. It has to be as easy as plug and play, that kind of feel. Yeah.
I see.
Correct.
Actually, once it's been set up, it's very easy to use already. Like you turn it on again, it will 100% work.
Correct.
But the initial phase is, what we try to do is we try to really put some nice animations. All our UI is custom made. So we didn't take any pictures from anywhere. We drew everything in Photoshop ourselves. So all those logos and flashing logos that you saw, that was probably our effort to try and make it easier for the user. Yeah.
And can I ask what happens when it crashes? Well, does it reboot itself very cleanly, and you can just continue, or do you need to do a setup again?
There's a reset button there. There's a black color button. You just have to press that. But so far we have not had any crashes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's quite stable, the format already.
Okay. So just last question. I will always ask everything. What's your future plans? Like, are you going to commercialize this, or are you going to carry on with this?
I think I personally have some future plans for this. Yeah.
Okay. You should. I mean, you've gone so far, right? Yeah.
For home automation and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing you can look at, because I actually use this as a universal remote as well. Okay. Some of the apps that they actually have the remotes pre-programmed. So you kind of select, let's say Samsung, the TV, the model. Straight away you get a remote on the phone that looks exactly like the remote that you have. Okay. And then whatever that's there all works on.
I see.
Because I used to like this where you can record yourself, but the problem is when the battery is gone or what, then everything has to re-record again. Sometimes you also lose that remote, the master remote. So nowadays you have all these free remote already pre-programmed on the web there. Just kind of recycle them. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
So actually, this system is it's very focused on the cloud. So all your data, IR data, is safely stored on the cloud itself. So if you lose your phone or you lose your remotes, as long as you have this device and you have your user account, you can log into our account and you have all your IR signals saved there.
So one thing, when the IR sends a signal, does it send like an ID or something? Or is it purely a signal?
It's just pure IR
signal. But we have authentication, like the device key and the user.
I mean, let's say for example, if I use the remote versus let's say I use another remote. Let's say a Panasonic on-off button versus a Samsung on-off button. Yeah. Do they just simply send the on-off trigger, or is there something else attached to the on-off trigger, like a ID, device ID or something?
No, it's actually a string. It's like
it's just highs and lows.
Yeah, it's bits. Yeah.
And different manufacturers have different timings for these highs and lows. So there's pulses like that. So
okay.
Yeah. I believe that some of them they use their prefix to actually indicate what kind of brand it is. So if it's a Panasonic, it has this certain code. Philips has this certain code. That kind of thing.
Because I was thinking, if let's say you can, because since you store everything on the backend anyway, you can figure out the certain prefix that let's say Panasonic use or Samsung use. Then when somebody, let's say, press the power button, he said, we already have this remote on our system. Then he pre-populate everything for you.
Yeah, people do have these libraries online, but they're not open source, so that's why we remove
Yeah, but definitely a future system we can have is to like ask the user to add in data to our database, and you can actually search it instead of. But we didn't actually have enough time to implement that.
Because one thing I don't like about the universal remote is I cannot pre-program my ones. Because my aircon it's not inside there. I don't know why.
Correct.
I mean, it's Daikin, but when I select all the Daikin models, none of that works.
I see.
And
But you can set it up, right? You can actually send the signal.
This is a blaster, not receiver.
Okay.
So they kind of make it kind of useless there.
So our device actually does receiving as well, so it's universal. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.